You're watching Guude. You're watching Guude. Fighting just to save our lives. Got you laughing every night.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. Do you want to hear my rage-inducing story of the week?
Yeah.
So, I have an extra vehicle that's basically my test bed vehicle for, and I fix it type of deal. It's an old 2004 Explorer that it basically isn't worth anything for trade-in, so I've never traded it in. I just kept it because while it was running, it was worth more to me than it was for the $1,000 to trade it in for, for something else. So it gives me a big vehicle to be able to transport.
I've never
big
seen
furniture
this.
when I
Where's
need
it
to.
at?
Parked on the street.
Oh, huh. I just saw it, didn't know it was yours.
Well, over in the last 2 years, it stopped starting on me. I was like, okay, I've got to get rid of this thing at some point. And I was like, you know what? All these symptoms, apparently, according to online Googling, point to the starter being bad. It's like, how much does a starter cost? Oh, $60? You know what? Let's see if I know how to change a starter in a vehicle. So I changed out a starter and got the thing up and running and was all proud of myself, learning how to do this stuff. And about 8 months later, it stopped holding a charge in the battery and got new batteries and stopped holding the charge. And I'm like, okay, this is probably the alternator, which I thought one of the things I thought it was going to be in the first place. For the start, when the starter had a problem, but it turned out it wasn't. So did some pulled out the alternator, tested it. It's a bad alternator. Okay, how much does a new one of those cost? Oh, $90 from. You buy alternators from Amazon, by the way. Did you know this?
No.
So $90. So let's change out an alternator. So all of a sudden I know how to change out an alternator now. So it's like my project vehicle, essentially, to see if I can do anything. So the downstairs tenant has been asking if she can borrow it because she doesn't have a car. And now she's got a job that occasionally requires her to drive outside of DC. And she's working on getting a car, but she's like, until I get one, you mind if I borrow it one day a week? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So she used it one day, and the back window, it's an old Ford Explorer, so the back window lifts up different than the tailgate to it opens like a little window, but it's on a big hinge and it flips up. And the hinge snapped and the window fell off, and the window's still in one piece, but the hinge snapped. So for a hinge online for $30 and put a new hinge on. So I'm like, oh, look, more stuff that I'm learning to do in this vehicle. Well, 2 days ago, we were getting a new recliner because we wanted to get one that matches our couch. So we got rid of our old recliner. We were buying a new one, and Julia was going to pick it up. And it was from a guy on Craigslist, so she needed the Explorer to put it in. So she grabs the keys, goes out, calls me 15 minutes later. And is like, I stopped to get money at the bank, at the ATM, and now I can't get the car to start again. So I'm like, well, crap, I've drained the battery on this. I think there's a short circuit in the radio, so I've actually have the fuse disconnected from the radio because I'm pretty sure the radio is draining the battery.
Yeah.
I was like, well, shit, maybe I wonder if that happened again. But, man, if you just started the thing up and just took it to the store, there's no reason it shouldn't start again right now. So I was like, yeah, let me come up and see with my little jumper box and see if I can help you out. So I get up there. And I'm like, so what happens when you try to start this thing? And she's like, well, it's just nothing. It doesn't crank. It doesn't do anything, which isn't the sign that, the battery's dead. The lights are all on in there. It just, you literally turn the key and it doesn't crank for some odd reason. Something is wrong with this beyond what I know what to do. Normally, whatever, it wouldn't be a problem. Put it in the back of the house, put it on the street. I'll get to it when I can get to it. It's my project car. Let's deal with it. She decided that since she was just going to get money very quickly, she didn't park it in a parking spot.
Okay.
She parked it ahead of the street parking, at the intersection, essentially. Where it's, too close to the intersection, where it would immediately get a ticket if a police officer saw it. On top of that, blocking a fire hydrant.
Oh, God.
So I roll up there, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Me being a firefighter, It makes me angry. And of course the excuse is just, but I was just going to run in there for a second. I was like, don't you think we respond to calls in a short period of time? What if your car, what if the Explorer caught on fire? Caught the building on fire, and that's why we're responding here. And now we can't even get to the hydrants because you caused the fire and blocked the hydrant out. Like, that's why you never ever, so note to anybody out there, never fucking block a fire hydrant, no matter how short of a time you're going to be.
Right.
I actually went to a person's house before on a call, and it was their house. They had a fire in their kitchen, like a very small one. It was just like food, but they called us. They called 911 because they had a fire in their kitchen, and they themselves blocked the only hydrant on their street because it was convenient for them to park.
Did you just let their house burn down?
Well, it wasn't big enough of a fire to do that. There was just some smoke in the kitchen because it was just food on the stove. But the driver, because I wasn't driving that time, the driver had a very long talk with the homeowner about their choices in life. But at least they had the ability to go start their car and move it.
Right. So what'd you do?
So honestly, you want to know what I did? I was so quickly trying to figure out because oh god, I just fell down a big hole. It was Tuesday. It was New Year's Day. It was the night of New Year's, and I'm
Right.
like, I don't know what on earth I'm going to do. I'm going to call AAA and try to get this thing towed. Like, do I have to sit here? Are they going to give me an estimate? Are they going to be able to get this thing towed before the morning when it's not allowed to be here? Am I just going to get a ticket anyways because I'm blocking a fire hydrant, no matter how long it takes a tow truck to get here?
Right.
So I don't know if you know anything about cars.
Mm-mm.
There's a way, and I was like, I'm taking a shot in the dark, and I could potentially kill myself. I put the key in. Well, I did. So we did. So somebody's, I say, push it out of the way. We finally were able to push it out of the way of the fire hydrant. But the problem is there was cars parked behind us, which is why it was parked where it was at in the first place. So you couldn't push it out of the way anywhere. And then, of course, it was bad enough. Finally, when a car moved and we got the area blocked right behind it, I couldn't even just push it backwards because it was like angled against the curb. I had to push it forward and then backwards so we could turn the wheel on the car. And with the car not on, there's no power steering. So
Yeah.
it took like 4 times of pushing it back and forth. Finally did get it out of the way of the fire hydrant, but then I had to get it moved out of this area because it wasn't allowed to be there in a couple hours when street parking time kicks in from the holiday. I put the key in the ignition and turned it to the run position and went under the vehicle and took a screwdriver and shorted out the solenoid on the starter to force it to start. So I took a screwdriver and I pulled it between the 2 posts on the starter, which forces the relay of the starter to run. It gives it energy to the starter, and it actually started up. I drove it home.
Wow. Can you do that without the key in the ignition?
No, you can do it without the key in the ignition, but the starter will just go but kick over because the car's not in run. And the funny thing is, the only reason I even knew that is I had an old Jeep back in the day, and somebody was telling me about how that used to be a way that people could like hijack cars. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I tried to do it on my Jeep, and it would never start. And I finally one day decided I'm going to put the key in the ignition and turn it on. But in the Jeep, it was much more accessible. Like in the Explorer, it's like buried up there. But
Right.
Jeeps are meant to be like tinkered with. And I connected the 2 posts, of course, with like a tool, a much bigger metal tool that was like all open and I could see it. And the second I put the key in run and tried it, as long as you removed the connection so it didn't keep cranking as if you're holding your key over, it would start up. So I knew I had a possibility of doing it. And yeah, and somebody said, I see people saying, good thing the screwdriver is insulated enough. Yeah, I'm not saying that was a smart idea. I wouldn't suggest anybody else go out and do that, but it did work. But the moral of the story was basically my rage-inducing own person I chose to marry doing something completely against what I would consider appropriateness. So using the story to tell people, do not ever for any reason park in front of a hydrant for exactly that reason, because you never know if when you walk out to your car 10 seconds later if it's going to start again or not.
Did you get the recliner?
Did I get the what?
Recliner.
Oh yeah, we ended up getting it later, not in that car. We
I figured you
borrowed
could get it in
somebody
that car.
else's car.
Okay.
No, that car is still sitting on the street, and I don't know where in that place that I left it that time. And I've not been able to get a chance to go out and do anything with it. Somebody said you could beat a starter to get it to work, and that is somewhat true. You could, if you have a starter that's going bad, often while you're trying to start your car, if you smack it with a hammer, it can break it free enough to turn the car over, but that means you're at the end of life of your starter. Oh. Sorry, I'm reading your mind as we
No, it's
play.
fine. It's just open book.
Yeah, my starter was absolutely fine because I just replaced it recently, in the last year or whatever. So now I got to figure out what the hell's causing my car not to make a connection. I don't know. It's not the security. If people are going to ask if it's the anti-theft, it's not the anti-theft. Because for one, it wouldn't have actually turned on if it was the anti-theft. But for two,
I thought of that, but I just assumed that car was too old to have that. Like my old.
No, it's got the anti-theft because I actually have a key cut that doesn't have the chip in it, and so I have it as well, and I can use it because I've used it before just to unlock and lock the car. It was like an extra key for just to get inside of it if I ever needed to. And I put it in the ignition, and the anti-theft light blinks like crazy. And I put the normal key in the ignition, and it's like all normal. So I think either my ignition coil is going bad, or I don't know, or maybe there's a connection. Somehow I lost a wire that actually goes from the relay down to because I tested the relay, and the relays all seem to work. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, my 99 Beetle was basically that same car where it wasn't worth, like, even though it only has like 30,000 miles on it, it wasn't worth selling for what people would pay for it. So I'm
surprised. I thought Beetles held their resale value pretty well.
No, it's worth like $1,500.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucking old, right? It's like 20 years old.
I mean, it's pretty old, but I thought that type of Beetle, like, they really held their resale value for whatever reason.
No. And hell, that was like 2 years ago whenever I got offered $1,500 for it. It's probably not worth that much anymore.
It still runs?
It did at the time.
Or is this the one you always have problems with that you keep taking it in to get fixed?
No, that's my GSR that keeps having random problems. But no, it ran fine for years. I stopped driving. It sat for several years. Then I went and had the gas tank replaced and a bunch of shit replaced, all the hoses, etc. And
gas tank, man, that's intense.
Well, it had been sitting for 6 years, 7 years, something like that. So yeah, anyways, I'd spent like $3,000 on it, getting it back to running order again. And then I went out of town, and I was gone for a while, and by the time I got back, it wouldn't start again. And so, no, it hasn't been driven in 6, 7 years now, just sitting there.
But I mean, that's the fun thing that you could start doing. So, man, you could make a series out of it. Like Guude learns, like it's the stupid auto mechanic that just learns. You think I knew how to change an alternator? Change a starter? I know nothing about this shit, man.
I don't want to do any of that, though. It's like the opposite of a good time for me.
I mean, but don't you feel I feel so good when I find out something. I don't know. So there's this new YouTube channel I've been watching that this guy's like he's like my soulmate. But it's called My Mate Vince. And all he does is he's like, I'm not a professional, but I go around trying to fix random things that I find. And he buys a lot of broken stuff from eBay that he tries to see if he can find the fault with it and then fix it. A lot of it's electronics, but a lot of it is not as well. And he goes around his house in one of the episodes and he's like, oh, my fridge has been the ice maker hasn't been working in a while, so time to dig into this and see if I can find what it is.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's my guy, that's my man, that's my mate Vince, right there. I think you could get some satisfaction or some aggression because what are you gonna do with it sitting there?
Nothing.
Exactly. You're not going to hurt anything by doing it that you wouldn't that you would care too much about. If you break it, who cares, right?
I'm just going to leave it alone.
You're literally just going to have it sit there.
Uh-huh. I should have sold it. I got rid of
$1,500 back when it ran.
I should have. I got rid of my 69 Beetle because same problem. I never drove it. At least
so why do you keep collecting these Beetles?
I don't. I've stopped. And so has Volkswagen. They're not making them anymore.
So How did the 69 hold its value?
Yeah, well, those do, because they're a collectible car. But the 99, there's nothing collectible about it. They made 1 billion of them.
I mean, that might be true. A buddy of mine bought an old. I don't know when they moved the engines from the rear to the front, because your new one had the engine in the front, right?
Yeah. In 1998 is whenever they began putting them in the front.
Oh, it was that late. Okay, so this might not have been that old. I was trying to date this by saying it had the engine in the rear, but it could just mean it was 98 or older.
Well, they stopped making them for a period of time, at least to be sold in America. So I don't know what was the last year of the old Beetle design that you could have bought here. Period.
Yeah, I remember he saw it on the side of the road, like with a for sale sign up, and went for the guy. 1,100 for it, and he like laughed him out of there. And it didn't have an engine. The engine compartment was empty, so it was the shell of this Beetle.
Yeah,
and the guy laughed him out of there and wouldn't even talk to him. Yeah. And like 6 months later, it was still there, so I went and offered him again. So he reluctantly sold it, but it was $1,100 for like the shell of the vehicle.
No, they're worth a lot. The old Beetles.
You should find out what's wrong with the new one. Get your old 69 back. Put the engine from the 99 in the 69.
This is not even possible.
I mean, maybe not working. But this would be a whole series of mistakes. He do it?
Mistakes is the rest of that.
Of mistakes. A series of mistakes. But mistakes are what people want to see, right?
Yeah, but I can make free mistakes.
Oh, you have a Ford dealership employee in your head. And yes, I tried starting it with the one without the key in it, and no, it did not. It didn't do anything different. But it did have the anti-theft light blinked feverishly when I tried it with the one without the chip, and did not when I tried it with the ones with the chip. So,
I wonder who did this with a spawner up here. Did you see what that's been done with the spawner up here?
Yeah, we saw it last week when we recorded. Oh, wait, maybe no.
No, I didn't see nothing last week.
I was trying to think if it was on New Year's, and I was just watching your stream and saw it in somebody, or if we did it in the video. I can't remember.
I don't remember seeing this, and I was sober when we recorded. How you liking your new mod pack?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. The problem is I had a lot of time to sit and like mess with it for the first couple days, like hours to like play with it, get it installed and get it working. And I thought I was going to have all this extra time, and now things have all like gotten really busy again. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do like off camera with the mod pack, because it's just a lot of basic setup stuff. But like I'm stuck right now. I could be letting my mob farm collect mob loots, except for the fact that I need quartz, and I don't want to just be like, oh guys, by the way, off camera I built another portal, went to the nether, did all this stuff, like a lot of stuff that is like achievements on there. Yeah. So like I have to wait until I can get a chance to record just to go get something that I know is easy to get, but I don't want to like have you, because I am watching somebody's series. I watched a couple series of this one because it's pretty interesting. And the one guy's series, I remember it's like episode 1, he's doing all this stuff, and then episode 2, all of a sudden there's a fucking wall full of a storage system, and he's like off camera between episodes. I made the basically I made the biggest storage system possible. I have automatic crafting, and I'm like, wait, the progression is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, some people really don't know what you should not cut from a series.
Right. And then some people like, but nobody wants to see me like figure out how to use Tinkers again, because I don't use Tinkers very often. But that's such a common mod that people are like, oh, come on, shut up, Jeff. Like, learn how to use Tinkers already.
Yeah. Off camera means I cheated the maths in.
And said some of it probably does for some people.
I always was worried about that with like the Mindcrack series, because it got to the point where, and I blame half the people that played on the server for this, because they were, the more people we added, the more editing was suddenly required, because everyone like upped the game just a little bit more. It's like, I'm gonna edit this much out, I'm gonna edit this much out. So it's like, but there was none of that cheating shit offline, at least.
Well, and then the problem is too, you had people like Nevers that joined and went from like oh, look, we're putting out a video a day or a video every 2 days of, the 30 or 40 minutes that we'll play on the server for a day. But he put in 15 hours on the first day.
Yeah.
And has all the things.
And no videos.
Yeah, and no videos. He's built a tower out of diamond blocks out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, can you imagine if we just come back next episode and this is all dug out and planted?
Yeah.
We're like, off camera, we decided to dig out the farm.
Finish the series off camera.
It's no big deal. It's ready to go.
Breon really wants to reset the server when we finish this.
Okay. I mean, is there a reason?
I think they want to reset it for 114, but I think his
Is it-
thought. See, Breon, he's a little naive boy. I think he thinks.
He thinks
that,
people will come back? I mean, remember, a reset is what caused a lot of people to leave. Oh,
That's
kinda
what
crazy.
caused me to leave, basically. I was like, super against most of the resets. But once everyone agreed on the annual reset, I was done playing. That's why I just basically put a couple episodes to try, but I was like, yeah, this just isn't for me anymore.
Yeah, I definitely know that's why Beef was not liking it, because he didn't want to see his builds just get, like, wasted to nothing. I would love it if we still had the, like, original, like, second season, which was the first multiplayer, or even the third season, and we just started from there, and it was new terrain out, but, like, that was back to what it was.
That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, it would be pretty sweet, just because I don't know, it'd be interesting. I would even venture to say I'd rather second season, when remember both of our bases, or everybody's bases who played at the time, had to be somewhat centrally located because there wasn't even beds when that all started.
Yeah.
Or was there beds when that started?
I think it was
but everything
beds.
was everything was rail based, and
Well, there wasn't
Real-
nether.
the different-
There was no nether yet.
yeah, not when it started. There was no nether, because then nether definitely changed the way we started getting around a little bit easier. But it was all about rails and digging underground railroad systems, and because that was the fastest way to get around anywhere.
And those weird boosters you had to make.
My house is covered with gravel. I think I cleaned it up the day you reset the server.
Did you? I don't believe it.
Yeah. I want to go back and look at my video, because I remember it up, and it was like very shortly after server got reset.
I think that was the only reset that I kind of eventually got okay with, but I was still very much against server resets.
I was okay with most of them to an extent, because I never have big, crazy, fancy builds. Like, I did kind of like. Actually, was it this one? I don't think it was this. What's the one we started out with the border wall?
That was last season, I think.
That was not this season.
No, it definitely wasn't this season. This season I
remember that
hardly
was-
played. I think I put in 10 episodes and stopped.
But that was a cool. Oh yeah, because you did Torch Tuesdays on the
Yeah.
border season.
Yeah, that was my last ditch effort to put out any content at all.
I just remember, was it Packrat or somebody was waiting patiently as the border expanded, and they were like one block away from a pumpkin block or a wheat block or something that we could use to make more of that block.
Yeah.
Only ones on the server waiting for it as it slowly got there.
I thought that was probably the best gimmick we've done in terms of things that happen at the start of the season. Just because it was interesting to
otherwise,
see getting villagers.
Has there been any gimmick? Oh, I guess there was gimmicks. It was the no regen.
Yeah. That's when I
Yeah,
found
whatever.
out Kurt was a damn liar.
What do you mean?
He constantly told me, yeah, I just don't enough feel Minecraft right now, but I would, even if regen was on, I'd still wouldn't play. And the moment
Oh,
we
he
turned
told you
regen,
afterwards that it was the regen thing?
yeah. Well, the moment we turned regen on, he started playing again. I was like, you lied to me. He's like, yeah, a little.
I don't want to hurt your feelings. Hey, he's just a nice guy.
I could handle the truth.
I don't know, Guude. You can't handle the truth about Santa.
I know the truth. He's real.
Trying to get a look at this thing from the top. We can't even see it all from the top. We have to move this beacon again soon, or is it going to make it to the end?
No, we're gonna have to move it.
I mean, that means progress, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I finally can see the end of what we've done. How much more is actually left? This is... Okay, I see the end wall now. Well, we've definitely done a lot more than we have left.
We've done more than we have, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we've done more than we have left. From a straight horizontal perspective.
Right.
Granted, there's a Z component to this.
Isn't it Y?
I guess in this game it's Y. In a normal thing, it would be a Z.
Does Jack know he's gonna be a brother soon?
Yes.
Does he understand that concept, you think?
That we're up for question. He rubs the baby, he rubs the baby's belly, he talks
rubs the
about
baby's belly.
or rubs the mommy's belly where the baby's at.
Yeah.
Whether he gets it or not, or thinks it's just like a gimmick.
A gimmick.
You know,
That's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, in his mind, it's just Bobby's getting fat, essentially, you know.
Right.
And whether he really thinks that there's another baby in there and he understands that concept, I'm not 100% positive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, Julia, like when the baby kicks and stuff, she'll be like, "Oh," and she'll like grab her stomach, and he'll be like, "The baby,
the baby."
So he gets it. It's really funny. Like he picks up the strangest things. And I'm sure your daughter did, the same thing. But sometimes I'm sure he hears them from us, and maybe we don't even remember saying certain things. And I'm not talking about the bad things. I'm just saying like. He'll like walk now, and like if something hits him in the leg, or he'll trip over something, or he'll kick something that got in his way, and completely his fault, and he'll look down and be like, "Hey,
how dare you?"
Yeah, but I don't know where he got where he started getting the "hey" from in the first place. Like one of us must say it and not really even realize it, but he picks up really funny phrases.
I'm tired of all this shit my daughter picks up at school, honestly.
Well, hard to control that, though.
Nope. No, nothing you can do about it. Her new thing is like... I don't even know why she does this, but it's like everything is OM double G! Like,
OM double G?
Yeah, double G. There's like a double G for some reason. I don't know what the extra G's for. I haven't asked any questions. I'm pretending I don't hear it, so maybe she'll just stop saying it.
Oh my great God! Oh my
good God! I don't know. I do not know.
God. Double G.
Yep.
I'm trying to think what that would be for.
I think it's just to emphasize how amazing whatever it is.
OM triple G.
yeah.
That just means I'm playing guys' grocery games.
Yeah. I don't know.
OMGG. Yeah, be prepared. Remember back in the day when, I don't know if it was for you, but sucks was a bad word?
Yeah.
I mean, is that just a normal thing?
I think it is probably. Like I wouldn't get mad if she's like, that sucks. I wouldn't, because I say that sucks.
You wouldn't even think twice of it?
No, not really.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like it is in general now is... Or like The Simpsons was like one of the most horrible things children could watch back in the day, and I was like, one of the most family wholesome shows.
Yeah.
I remember the very first time I got in a lot of... I can't remember if it's the very first time. Very first time I remember getting in a lot of trouble, and it was because I used to get in a lot of trouble for saying the word sucks. or it sucks, or it's sucky. Like this is sucky. I think I used to say a lot as a little kid. My mom would get really, really mad. And I remember once I was about to say like, this is sucky, and I like caught myself, and I was like, this is. And I just decided I'm going to throw a different letter in front of, instead of S, and it's going to be a different word. It'll be okay. And I didn't know any better. And I ended up saying, this is fucky. And I got in a lot of trouble. And it wasn't, unlike the Christmas Story movie, I didn't know what I was saying was a bad word. I thought what I was saying was like the save from the bad word.
Yeah.
And I got so much trouble. And I was crying. My mom was like, where did you hear that? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know. What does it even mean? I just didn't want to. And I explained to her like what I was trying to do and not say sucky. And she was sure I was lying, that I picked it up from somebody, you know, or my sister or something like that I got it from. And I could not for the so long understand what I had done wrong, because all this time I was told that sucks is such a bad word, but all of a sudden even replacing it with something else is even worse. Like,
right. Who knows what combination of letters you can produce. Really?
And what are the odds that I would throw out the F-bomb instead of, you know, anything else? And I legitimately just I tried to not say sucky because I didn't want to get in trouble.
I remember in elementary school, I was in like 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that. I drew a Ninja Turtle, and I spelled ninja wrong. I spelled it with a G, so it was like Ninga turtle. And I put the picture under my desk, and then the teacher comes by, and she's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, huh?
I think we lost it, Guude.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
You're getting robot-y, and I think the server's dying, or it's just my internet connection dying.
Yeah, I think maybe your internet connection's dying. God, you are so covered in slimes.
Oh, wow. A bunch of little slimes just chased you after you like 100 miles an hour. But I'm back, I guess.
They're all over you?
Nope. Rubber banded.
Huh. Well, okay. I'll finish my story real quick, then we'll stop. Anyway, teacher gets super mad at me, pulls me out in the hallway, and she's like, over and over, "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's a Ninja Turtle." And she's like, "No, huh?" And she like pulls my desk out into the hallway, and I had to sit in the hallway for the rest of the week. And for years, I never understood what had happened in this occasion. And I figured it out later. She thought I was racist. She thought I'd drawn a not ninja, but
right. And I know what you're going for. Yeah. Isn't that the most amazing thing? Is the fact that you remember something like that, so that one day later in life you're like, oh,
yeah. And I just kind of wish I could find that teacher and be like, "You know what the fuck a Ninja Turtle is now, right?"
She's like, "Yeah, but you know what a other end turtle is."
I mean, he was green. Anyways, dumbest fucking thing. Just like the damn teacher that accused me of peeing in the trash can whenever it's closed bathrooms. Wish I could find her, pee in her trash can.
Peeing in the trash? Why'd you pee in the trash can?
I didn't. That was the thing. Someone peed in the trash can. I later found out it was a boy named Greg Ferguson. This was like fucking 15 years later. I found out the truth. But like the teacher. So our school had burned down, and
because you peed in the trash.
Yes. And so we were in these like little trailers. They pulled in because there was no school anymore, and the trailers had built-in bathrooms for boys and girls. And someone peed in the boys' trash can in the bathroom. And so the teacher interrogated every single boy. She took them outside and interrogated every single boy. And like, who peed in the trash can? No one fessed up to peeing in the trash can.
It's like who pooped in the urinal South Park episode.
I haven't seen this episode. But anyways, at any rate, it wasn't me that peed in this damn trash can. And so I did not ever admit to peeing in the trash can because I didn't fucking do it. And everyone told the teacher I did it. Again, this is a single-use bathroom. There is no way anyone knew who actually did it because no one could know who did it because only one person was in there. So anyways, the boys were not allowed to go to recess until someone fessed up to it. And this went on for like over a month. And everyone I got the shit kicked out of me constantly for taking everyone's recess away because I supposedly peed in the trash can, even though it was just mob mentality deciding that I'd peed in the trash can. my dad ended up getting called down to the school, and you could hear him. Him and the teacher's name was actually Miss Ferguson too. But she was.
What, was it her son?
No, there was no relation. I actually looked into this later because I was curious. Like when I found out he was the one, it's like, well, they were fucking related. Did she know he peed in the trash can? Anyways, and so you could hear my dad outside, like, because this had been going on for a very long time. I was like coming home from school crying and shit. Like it was bad. And he was out there screaming at her, like, you need to fucking leave my son alone. Like, I'm tired of him being constantly bullied because you're getting, like, she would get in front of the whole class and be like, as you all know, since Jason peed in the trash can, we're still not having recess today for the boys.
How did you find out who it was later?
My cousin told me. Apparently Greg had admitted to it. And so years later, my cousin told me that it was Greg that had done it.
Did you go like randomly beat up Greg when you're like?
I was an adult at this point. If I ever see him, I'll cuss him out.
You're gonna be like, dude, what's good seeing you? You're gonna be like, fucking pee in the trash can, smack.
Yeah. Years later, at my grandmother's 80th birthday party, one of the girls from so there was this girl named was Amy, and everyone had a crush on Amy. And come to find out, we were related. So it's a good thing I never dated Amy. Not that she was gonna date the boy that peed in the trash can, anyways. But
your cake just got ruined, or maybe your life got saved from this Craig Ferguson child. You could have like some incestual like child right now.
I mean, when I saw Amy again at my grandma's birthday, she was still pretty damn hot. So, I mean, you know, we're probably far enough away cousin-wise. It's fine.
There probably wouldn't have been too much mutation in the genetic code.
Yeah, no, it'd have been all right.
Fine.
So we're all like, after the birthday party, we're all kind of standing around, and I look at Amy.
Do you think Craig wanted Amy and he knew she was into you? So
Greg
he peed in the trash can and made sure he thought it was you.
No, I don't think that's how it went out. But I did tell Amy at my grandma's 80th birthday party, we're just standing there, and I'm like, so you know, I didn't pee in the trash can. And she looks at me like I was the craziest person in the room. And we're happy to be standing beside a trash can, too. And she kind of like looks at the trash can and then back at me. And she's like, huh? And I'm like, oh, I guess you didn't remember about that. Well, and so I had to like tell the whole story again. And she didn't remember it at all. It even happened. I guess it's the girls got to have recess. They didn't like stick with their minds. But I basically like 20 years later just told an adult woman I didn't pee in the trash can. It really stuck with me, but I guess not with her.
Too good.
Yeah. But yeah, that fucked up my childhood real good.
We should go find this Craig Ferguson character.
Greg! It's Greg!
It's Craig Ferguson character.
God damn it. All right, well, we're out of time. We're way out of time. We're 40 minutes in. This went way too far.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everybody.